They
Wait,
nerfed DDD?
dude, they nerfed DDD. They nerfed DDD. I don't know. But they did buff me Gunner, not me Gunner, excuse me. Me Brawler. Pac-Man did get a nerf and a buff, so break even.
I think with all these character changes, we need to. I think the seating needs to be adjusted to be according to the character
I
changes.
agree, man. This G6 seating, it's bad.
Yeah. Subtle.
Wait. Oh yeah, it's bad. That's what I said, right?
Yeah.
I'm just playing around. No, man, there's been so much controversy around the seating, and I feel like all I've been seeing on Twitter is just like a lot of complaints about seating.
Yeah, but they got rid of the old and they hired in the new. I think it's like Zen and some
TLTC.
two other guys not Zen.
TLTC.
Well, the thing, I guess the confusing thing
Yeah,
is,
him.
is like, so now I guess this is really the first. Well, obviously Genesis is like a massive Smash tournament. No secrets there. But I guess the main thing is now that we're seeing players from Melee and from Ultimate, or I guess the beginning of Ultimate and Four. Basically, this is like the biggest, most talented bracket yet. So, I mean, realistically, how do you see that, right? Because there just aren't pre-existing results that
Yeah,
aren't from
you
older
have a
games.
mixture of two games that are one's a Smash game and one is fundamentally a Smash game, but and like these converging audiences and all these different countries coming together that like had a reasonable amount of overlap in Smash 4 and in Melee, but like now you have like all these different layers that you need to account for, and like even still like places like Europe didn't have like a massive overlap other than Mr. R, because like Gluttony would still be pretty rare. He showed up a little bit towards the end, being at like glitch 5 for Smash 4 and some other thing I forget. But yeah, like there's so many different layers you have to keep track of. So it's
And
like, oh boy.
and the funny thing about Gluttony is he's sort of like he's high up there. He's the 11th seed from what I'm looking at right now.
Good.
And
He was like 35 before.
yeah, they actually really did improve this from the initial release. I'm looking at them right now actually, the updated seedings, and they're honestly they actually aren't bad at all right now, but they were kind of bad. And the disconnect is like someone like Gluttony, right? He's won a few tournaments in Europe. He's using Wario, like all these things. Like he's kind of made like a name for himself in the short lifespan of Ultimate. And then you have like all of the gods from Melee who are kind of coming out as like this is like the coming out tournament. So like your Hungry Boxes, your Lethans, Armada, Mango. We could even still say Mewtwo King, even though he had like a Smash 4 career. Like they're all in this bracket too. So it's just it got pretty confusing to say the least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Plus, I mean, when you neglect the fact that all Europeans are a bunch of flightless birds, uh,
Yeah.
like how do they hold a GameCube controller? Like I don't.
I
It's
mean, how did they tap dance? First of all,
that's also true.
I've seen
Like
that in
how?
the movies.
Yeah.
I've seen it in two movies. Well, here's like that again. Like this whole situation has been a mess. Like I've never seen like the public. I've seen. I mean, obviously, I've seen a public backlash at seating like this before. It's bound to happen with every national. I've never seen the clapback like so strong from a bunch of fucking people that like clearly don't know what they're talking about. Like, all joking aside, it is incredibly rude to like compare the likes of like Gluttony and like other European players to fucking penguins. Like that whole analogy was so
That
off.
was that
Like
was great.
I think that was a very clear case of somebody who's never talked to a top player before, and they just kind of got like mad and were talking without a filter. But like everybody had a right to be mad because some of the way that these players were seated was absolute crap. Like I think that opens up an interesting topic of like because Leffen even posted in like the screen dump of screenshots he got that how much do you take legacy into effect with these
Oh
things
my god, yeah,
like
the blatant like disrespect to ZD's most recent results.
yeah, that was bad.
It's like, okay, come on guys. It's a new game, right? So, let's say that ZD falls back into like where he fit in Smash 4, right? that doesn't change the fact that you're doing well in Ultimate, so you should be treated like you're doing well in Ultimate. Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah, it really makes sense, and I kind of think the legacy like placings they don't translate, man. And there's even people digging into like, oh, check out, X Melee streamer or X Melee players stream, and check out Y Melee players stream. It's like, why? Like, wouldn't
No,
I look
I
at the
mean,
people who are placing in brackets already?
like, what is it? It's like there's like two factors you like keep track of, right? It's one, above all else, is this person doing well in Ultimate now? Right? That should be that's the first thing you consider, right? You go yes, and then you try and address that relative to the other people doing well in Ultimate now. And then you have the people doing less well in Ultimate, but still doing like all right, but then like their reputation far precedes them from from other games, right? Like Nairo for Brawl and Smash 4, and then just like the top Melee players. It's just like you guys clearly have an understanding of how to play the game. You guys are clearly amazing, right? So it's just like we can still average that in, you know. And Nairo's a bad example since he has had better performance than ZD, but it's regardless. My point is the same. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's just like if someone is doing well, you reward them for doing well, and if someone like might not be doing as well as their reputation equivalent from the other games, it's like, okay, yeah, you can kind of average that, right? You take in those those ultimate results, and you kind of factor in some, because it's like there is some level to saying like, oh, he's that guy, like it's like, oh, you're gonna it's like the first tournament that Nairo enters, right? You're not gonna give him a mid seed.
No.
Well, right. Yeah, he's already proven time and time again to
Yeah.
perform regardless of
Because,
what
like,
game or stage.
yeah, because like you could make the argument that's like fresh slate, and 9 times out of 10, I will agree with that. But you're also trying to maintain a bracket from not getting completely fucked, right? So it's just like there's realistic expectations,
So
and
let's
yeah,
not
so you
the
kind of like average that.
So here's with that kind of as context for anyone who might not really understand seating, because there's still a lot of people who don't. And I could tell you even at the new venue that we're pumping out some locals with, like the guys who run that, like they didn't totally understand the concept of seating at all. Like they were kind of like, well, if you're really good, like what isn't seating like fixing a bracket? Because like if you're really good, you just win anyways. So
I
like
mean,
that's like still a thought process. I know to you and I, this sounds crazy.
like it super technically is like you are fixing the top two players to not play earlier. You are fixing it for them to play later.
So
Right?
so right, that's kind of what I want to get into. So that
But-
I sort of want to
yeah.
explain that concept right there, because it's
yeah,
it's still
take it away.
it's still lost on people. So and I do think that there's merit in explaining it. So basically, and a lot of sports do seed, because I think I've heard that as an argument where people are like, well, a lot of other sports they don't really seed, but they really do, right? So if you look even at something like basketball and March Madness or something like that, like it's based on results. So like your best teams are first seed, and then like as it lists, like the worst teams play the best teams, because it's assumed that if you're a best team, you're going to beat the worst team based on results. So it's like, as you mentioned, you're not going to have your best team and second best team play in the first round. Otherwise, like, it gets a little slanted, because then that worst team could get like a really easy lineup if it was all random seeding, and play the best team later when they should have already kind of been out to some degree.
Or they'll lose in the second round, and then March Madness is done by the first weekend.
Yeah, even more so, and that has actually happened. So
Yeah, it's like it's very hard to not seed on Legacy, because like I can understand the logic, albeit as shitty as it is. Like I can understand where these
Well,
the herders were
it's
coming
like-
from, but
you
like
see it on Legacy from the lack of a large seeding pool of
Right.
results. But and like, albeit it's still it's the end of January, so the game has been out for almost 2 months, not a whole 2 months, and we have some results to go off of. So obviously there's still a lot of Legacy to go off of, because it's just like, well, damn, how am I supposed to compare these things? But like, still, for the handful of results that some people have actually acquired, give them the goddamn bone. They got it.
so
yeah, like it's not like how it was when Smash 4 came out, because we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, how the weekend that Smash 4 came out, or like the first month, there wasn't really like a handful of tournaments to go off of. And at this point, we already have Let's Make Moves, Glitch, and Don't Park on the Grass, and as well as like Valhalla and like various international events to go off of. So like you can't really excuse that type of seeding. Like it's hard to seed for like somebody for the flash in the pan, because you don't know if the flash is over yet. Like, I think Genesis is going to iron out a lot of like the storylines going into this so far. It's just kind of a shame that like I feel like the event's kind of been like hampered down because of like just the poor organization for the most part. I'm still very excited to be there and like to witness it firsthand, but I just feel like a lot of the storylines are going to get lost because like the tournament itself, there's a lot like riding on this for a lot of people, and I think it's going to be very interesting.
So why don't you expand upon that, right? So Genesis is a huge series. Yeah, I guess start with that, because I think that'll add context, because this is really supposed to be like the first big super major, despite all the other tournaments you listed and other things that have been going on.
Yeah, so like Genesis itself carries a lot of legacy behind it to begin with. Like it's one of, I think outside of Pound, it's like one of the few like Smash like super majors that holds a lot of weight. Like when you say Pound or Genesis, like people usually know what you're talking about, or they're they think you're a religious freak or something if you say it in the streets. But we're not. That's a different podcast. And just like I think the big thing for me going into this tournament is that number one, it's Tweak's first event sponsored, because Tweak got sponsored by Team Solo Mid earlier. I think it was at the end of last week or earlier this week. Was it yesterday or Sunday?
That
or
was
that was last week. Wasn't
yeah,
it?
it was a few days ago. Maybe not a full week, but either way.
Yeah, so like this is huge for Tweak, because he's solidified himself as like the best player in the States right now for Ultimate, and it's definitely going to be a big deal because this is the first time you're going to really see him tested against international talent, because Japan usually shows up and does really well at Genesis. Like obviously Koma Rikiri did really well last year, albeit with some knockback issues. And then the year before is when then Renai had his breakout tournament at Genesis 3. So like, and obviously the big story coming from Japan this time around is going to be Zachary. He's somebody that's like been doing incredibly well at these Japanese events, and he's been seeded very high, as we saw earlier. So it's going to be very interesting to see how everything stacks out. And even just because like now that the seeding is fixed, like there's a lot of very interesting matches that like you're going to see like, earlier, like before bracket and like top 32, top 16, if everything kind of pans out the way that it did. And it's just going to be really interesting. And obviously like it holds a lot of legacy on the Melee side too. Like the Miam rankings aren't over just yet, but I think they should be done by the time the tournament comes out, right? Like they should be done by Friday, I think.
I don't keep up with Miam at all, but okay.
Yeah, like that it also holds a lot of weight for like for Melee standards. Plub is trying to defend his title, which would be really cool to see that.
Yep.
So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a fun weekend. I'm still gonna put my money on Tweak. If I had to pick, it hurts me to pick against like the field and Nairo like that, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see the lace.
Tweak already has 2 big wins, man, and for like the whole idea is that like the seeding should take into account that, like, although this is supposed to technically be the first, there is plenty of data by now. There's been no shortage of tournaments for anyone to kind of access. And speaking of the Melee guys, so these are the names that we're looking at who are in the Genesis bracket. You have Leffen, you have Armada, Mewtwo King, Hungrybox, Plup, Wizrobe, Mango. And as you mentioned, Koopa, some of these guys do have some interesting matchups. I see like Mango's path. Like I actually saw this in some of the comments. I've been just looking through the Smash Reddit. Think what you will, but in either case, like someone was saying like, oh, Mango's bracket, like first he was seeded to fight Tweak like first, and then now he's got a much easier bracket. Meanwhile, his bracket starts with Mars, and then has Redea, Cosmos, Nairo, and Samsora, and I'm like, yeah, really easy bracket. Like for sure. So it's like there's still people who just really don't know yet. Like because like all of those names like Mars, Cosmos, Nairo, Samsora, all these guys are like these are tops. These are like top 10 guys, really.
Yeah, I mean the people who are gonna have a problem with that are the people who like don't pay as close of attention to those other players because they're not on that on that plane as Tweak or whatever, and they're just like, yo, Mango's the fucking GOAT, dude. Like, if he's gonna come in and cause some upsets, he can start at that level. It's fine. It's fine.
Exactly.
It's like okay.
Doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Also, side note: Piranha Plant is live, by the way.
Oh, no kidding. Well, you know what? This is actually we get the idea with
like,
seeding. Let's talk.
Plant is released.
Yeah, Plant's out.
So all right,
let's go Plant.
let's like talk about this right now because I was planning on it. So patch 2.0.0, Piranha Plant apparently out with it. I thought he was coming out in a couple weeks but apparently not. So that's kind of exciting. And then
the eShop is currently crashed, by the way. I can't get onto it.
Oh, I could imagine. So I'm glad.
You have to download it because I did all my redeeming yesterday.
No, so like I haven't used my code yet, so that's why.
So you're trying to redeem it.
Yeah, so I'm a fucking idiot. I should have done this like earlier in the week, like a smart person. But yeah.
But guys,
get the chance.
Do you see all of the buffs for Puff, and do you see all the nerfs?
There buffs for Puff?
There are actually buffs for Puff, as a matter of fact. There's reduced vulnerability from side tilt, down tilt has extended launch distance, up smash increased attack power of low power zones, increased attack speed for Bear. Oh my God, Bear has increased attack speed. Good lord. Forward throw, dude. She got like a full on buff.
Did they like extended launch distance? Did they buff Luigi? I swear to.
Wait, hold on. Let me look at the notes. So for anyone who's unaware, you could actually find the patch notes on Nintendo's website, which is a fantastic addition by them, actually listing out their what's going on with their game with patch notes. But either way, it does look like Luigi is buffed.
Luigi up smash, extended launch distance. Why are we buffing Luigi?
Side special, reduced vulnerability. That's
Why
good.
are we buffing Luigi?
Dude, this is actually this is a big patch. And Deven, the programmer in you, I know we were just talking about this before the call. Can you explain the difference between a 1.0 patch to like a 2.0.0?
Oh, I mean, like the version numbers mean our version. There is no like super standard way to do it. It's just kind of like a standard practice thing where you have major revisions and minor revisions, right? And usually the first number is just going to be like the definitive version of that game. So like you had 1.0, you had 1.0.0, and then you had 1.1, and then 1.2, and then 1.2.1. So like all of those, as far as Nintendo would be concerned, it's like that's the first. All of those would be the first version of Smash Ult. But now this is like another version of it. It's a whole new, like everything that went into it before is a part of this, and yeah, it's like we're doing a bunch of changes. It's a new version of the game, where you had like you had minor things changed or like bug fixes will be in minor revisions. Like we haven't. I don't even know what like I said. All the decimal points are only mean to them internally, really. So whatever the more further right it is, the less significant it is. But like you can assign it to whatever. So you just have all those minor changes from before. So like 1.1 to 1.2 to 1.2.1, and then they're like, okay, here's a big patch. Boom, 2.0.
I think something that like a lot of people are expecting that they were expecting to come out here, because from what I saw on Twitter from my buddy G-Pick, shout out to that guy, he posted that whenever ARMS did their character updates to add like new characters to the game, it would be like a solid like new number patch. So,
yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
Yeah, so everybody was kind of just like raised their eyebrows when I saw that we were going straight from 1.2 to 2.0. So it's like, oh, some shit's about to go down. And naturally, it's of course the week of a fucking major when everybody has to fucking practice.
Yeah,
hell yeah. Wait, is Plant banned at Genesis?
Yes.
Weren't they planning on using? Are they planning on using the older? Are they going to be using this new patch?
No. So the rules are standard for most FGC tournaments. It's you have to, if the patch has to come out with like at least a month or earlier from.
It's like a month or month and a half before the event or something.
That's so awkward, man.
Yeah, considering this came out the week of. I think the hardest part here is going to be like making sure the internet's shut off on every. I mean, for most of like the systems, I'm not sure. I'm sure that's not going to be a problem. It's only really going to be an issue if somebody's using like a home brought like setup.
Yeah, but I mean, places like Genesis aren't going to accept like all of theirs are self-provided.
That's still really awkward, man. So it's like this was picked out to be like the landmark event for Smash before it was even released, right? And then you have Nintendo who just updates the game like right before it. And that sort of makes me wonder. I'm like, well, obviously they're aware of Genesis, like they know, but they probably just don't care. And
well, I mean, it's just always about like giving people the avenues to like be prepared, and like they were preparing under 1.2.1. They weren't preparing for 2.0, and it's now 3 days away. It's like Combo Breaker, a big FGC major. There was a Bayonetta patch. I think it was the first Bayonetta patch or something, or the second one.
Yeah, one of them.
Basically, like that patch came out, and it was too close to Combo Breaker, so they didn't run the patch. So
it was the one that like really gutted her for a while, like the one after the initial one.
Yeah, so us lucky Combo Breaker attendees got to have one more round of Bayo like she was in pre-patch.
Dude,
once more for all time.
I want to die.
I will say this actually is a pretty big patch because I'm seeing some significant changes already. Like Crom's up special. Crom will die first now, apparently. When falling off the stage with an opponent, Crom will be KO'd first. Shorten the meteor distance. So
that's so funny.
That's like a big one right there.
No more Chromicide, right?
Yeah, apparently not. So that's gone. I saw like they got rid of like the whole pellet cancel that Mega Man had. That seemed very useful.
What was pellet cancel? I didn't even know.
So essentially, what you could do is you could jump cancel like a pellet into a B special. So you could basically like pellet, and then like a metal blade comes out right after like that pellet that you canceled. So it was like a pretty good setup in terms of like getting people into like anything really.
It was used like most popularly with Yeti. He was using it in conjunction with Leaf Shield.
Yeah, and it was pretty.
Leaf Shield is multi-hit.
I think I saw something like that. Yeah.
So like you pellet, Leaf Shield, and then it's like a 10-hit combo of just like little things hitting you.
Oh, I got Plant. Woo!
Oh, nice. I'm gonna get Plant from Dill.
Yeah. So that kind of sucks. Like if you're in a Genesis attendee. Like I don't know. I guess playing on a new patch won't really.
If you're a Genesis attendee, like you've been training under 1.2.1, so
do you not update?
Familiar, don't update.
It's funny to think about. I wonder if like you just think about even like a Nairo. Like do you just like you still play on stream? Like you still have your stream for the next few days?
I mean, you better have more than one Switch at that point.
Well, yeah, and the problem with that is actually the Wi-Fi server is down for maintenance right now, and B, a player like Nairo or like most like streamers in general, they're not going to be able to stream for the next couple of days because they're going to have to update their Switches in order to play on the Wi-Fi.
They're also going to be at Genesis.
Oh, you right. Also, hold on. Wait, guys, hold on really quick. Ready?
Yeah.
Ready for this?
Yep.
Can you hear my game?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, hold on. Ready? Oh, never mind.
Thank you.
I can't believe Ryu's in the game, guys.
Yo, actually kind of got me. I was really anticipating.
But like
I actually hate you so much.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, man.
No, okay, no, for real this time. I got it.
That was a troll.
Give me like Lucas.
Oh
Hey!
Shit.
So like here's my question to you guys. Like what's because I feel a certain way about this, and I know other people do. What's your thought on the fact that the game is already seeing changes like this early? Because I feel that I kind of expected it, because usually the big game updates only really came whenever they added whenever they added new characters to the game, so like everyone's just kind of like, oh, they're not going to do anything like meta changing right now, but like I feel like Nintendo kind of like boxed themselves into a corner when they announced the rate at which they're going to release the DLC characters, because they plan to have them all out by this time next year.
Ooh.
So I feel like the game is going to see a lot of turnover, like very frequently, because of the like at the rate they want to release these characters. So like, what's your guys' take on?
I mean, them releasing characters doesn't mean they are going to have balance patches, nor are they going to have ones potentially as big as this one from today. If this one counts as a big one, it's the first one. It's kind of big. My scroll bar is kind of small, but like, you know, did they actually buff Rob's side B? I can't tell by from this description.
No, they did.
So,
Also, really quick, they nerfed Lucario can't Aura Sphere to up smash anymore.
oh my God, that's actually really big.
They reduced.
Been doing that for
the
years.
patch notes. Yeah, haven't heard that name in years. But like, yeah, the patch notes say that they apparently like nerfed the hit stun on Aura Sphere, so I guess you can act out of it quick enough to where you're not going to get hit by that anymore.
So back to the original question is like I don't really think it's that big of a deal because like one, it's not like, oh, we're making characters, who do we need to patch, right? It's just like what's nice is if they're having the first year of the game release under hard development because they're making characters, right? They're still fresh with it, they're still paying attention, right? And so we're going to see a lot of changes in the first year. Now the downside to that is that doesn't give a lot of time for metas to flourish and for things for like things that seem broken that could potentially end up not being broken. Although honestly, most of the ways things were broken in Smash 4 were like fundamental, and it was just like, yeah, no, she's taking you off the top, baby. Like, fuck. Yeah, but just the fact that they'll be paying attention for like a year, that's a lot of like close analysis. So all I hope is that like after the characters are done and then the meta is able to grow, that they pay attention after that for like 6 months to another year.
You know what
I'm like, after 2 full years of like good developer support, I think that's fantastic.
You know what I'm seeing a lot of is like like ledge grabbing mechanics, like a lot of moves. Apparently, like they're shortening the amount of time you would need after to grab a ledge. Like I saw Cloud's forward air. There's like several things for Inkling shorten the amount of time you cannot grab edges after like using neutral air. So I'm seeing like that stuff's almost like mechanically, because I know early in the game, and Lilat was sort of like the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the example where people are just like, stage is broken, but meanwhile it's like there are some ledge grab mechanics that are a little bit off still.
Well, okay. So when I read, because I'm even looking at Sheik forward air, which is hilarious because Sheik forward air is famous for this, but the whole shorten the amount of time you cannot grab edges after the move. So what that means, if we're to take any Smash history, is how long do you think Sheik's forward air is in Smash 4?
What do you mean by like how long? Like frame
how many
wise?
frames is the total of Sheik forward air?
9.
40.
Jesus.
So let me break this down. So you know about FAF, first actionable frames, right?
Yes.
So yeah. So like when the move by itself is n frames long, Sheik is like 40 something, right? You cannot grab the ledge as long as you are in a move. You can only grab the ledge when you're in a regular fall state. So the idea in like Smash 4 and in this game, right, is that like Sheik's forward air, it has very low FAF, making it a very, like, you can interrupt it with other moves very early on, making it seem like a fast move. But you can't do forward air off the edge without a jump and like expect to grab the ledge, because the move is technically still going on even though she's no longer doing anything.
Jesus Christ.
So like that's really, so like that doesn't have to do, so that's an interesting way to describe it, for viewers, for newcomers, or just like Nintendo's way of describing things. But they're like the ledge itself isn't being changed at all. because it's not saying, "Oh man, I'm the ledge."
Well,
Did they do
right.
chic forward air? I'm disabling right now. Fuck that.
So I'm just wondering if we'll just see more of that in the future. But in either case, like I'm just seeing even ice climbers now, Nana and Popo will follow each other more when separated. So apparently they are trying to get rid of desync a little bit because ice climbers didn't even get enough time to build up steam in terms of people playing them and doing crazy stuff with them, especially when you think about like how they were in Melee. But like
I saw like one tweet on Twitter. Somebody was like, "Please don't let me play a Japanese ice climbers man at Genesis."
Well, yeah, because like apparently the desyncs weren't that hard. Because I know James was explaining to me like, because I guess James was lapping some desyncs a little bit and saying like,
He would.
Yeah, apparently it was easy enough. Like if you were to just like up throw and then like up tilt, like it would be like a really easy. Or no, it was easier than that. There was some really easy way to like desync them with up tilt, but
just shatter Nana's hands. Just shatter them.
Dude, like through his mittens. That sounds awful. It just
break her hands. Put she can't hold the mallet anymore.
Dude, it's like a bag of like I don't know.
It's like a wet sock filled with quarters.
No, it's like
God.
No, she grabbed
that's gruesome.
She grabbed that wet snow that like goes through the gloves, so like your hands are really cold.
Yeah, and she slaps you with it, and she experiences excruciating pain through this, so she actually takes damage. That's what you got.
I mean, Pichu takes like consistent damage. I don't see why it would be weird to add it to another character, but maybe the next patch. It'll be patch 3.2.4. You heard it. You heard it here first.
Yeah. Dude, I saw somebody tweet this earlier in the week, but how fitting would it be if like during top 8, like Genesis, the top 8, the fucking like just the stream Wii U like auto updates.
I knew you were going there. That would be
like
there would be a bigger concern if they were playing it on the Wii U, but like if the Switch did auto update.
Oh shit! Damn, you got me.
No, but I knew you were gonna as soon as you said that because like that could happen, man. Like systems like this, they auto update all the time, and if it's like connected to Wi-Fi,
wait, has the Piranha Plant always had feet?
Yeah, dude, no. they're little nubs. Well, oh wait, you mean like canonically?
I guess.
Well,
what the fuck?
Canonically, I don't know. Like PD Piranha had like I know this isn't PD. This is a bigger discussion. But
you were there for that conversation.
Yeah,
at Helix. We saw them. You see them in the same room. They're clearly not the same person.
Yeah, but if it's a plant, you have like you could be like several parts, but then like you have to be rooted to like the same place, I guess. But like I'm not saying like you could appear to be two plants and maybe be one. I don't know.
Small tangent. Does Xeno legalize Piranha Plant tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, you guys are already running the new patch, so fuck it.
Yes.
All right. Cool. Awesome.
100% yes. I can't wait to see Grands.
Let there be cake.
Piranha dittos.
I'm so hyped for that.
So all right, we kind of.
Oh damn it! I need. Oh god, my thumbnails.
Oh no, I already. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I don't like thinking about that stuff either. It's best not to.
All right, I'm just gonna put Ivysaur.
There, perfect. I think.
Yeah.
Yep, that works.
Not a bad idea.
So.
Just plant dog.
So let's think. Okay, so like a little preview for Genesis 6. We kind of brushed over this to start this whole thing when we were talking about seeding. But there is a ton of people here. A ton of people. I already kind of listed all the Melee guys, all the household names the Hungry Boxes, the Mangoes, Leffins, yada yada yada. But one big thing I did notice is like Zero's not attending. He's actually it's already known he's going to be restreaming the stream, which is interesting because now this is like another instance of this, and I get it for sure. Because like you kind of have like your Smash expert outside of it who might bring in more viewers that aren't just like who just want to watch a tournament and just more so want to hang out with Zero. Like I understand it, but it is interesting. And I also am going to note that the first seed of this tournament in Tweak, who is now TSM, which is Zero's former team, it's very obvious. Like TSM, like they only pick cream of the crop, man. So it's like even if Zero's not there, and even though they don't sponsor him anymore, they still got the #1 mans.
Yeah. it's very fitting because like TSM is no slouch in regards to like the big five of esports teams. It's like one of the more like popular ones. And from my friends that I know that follow like League of Legends a lot closer, um, Team Solo Mid usually tends to like sign the players with a little bit more of an edge to them. So like obviously Leffen fits the bill perfectly,
Oh my
and
god. Yeah.
Zero as well, and Tweak. Everybody likes Tweak, but Tweak also definitely has that competitive edge to him. Like, did you see that picture of how high he jumped in the air?
Oh
after
my
he beat
god.
Light?
Amazing.
Wow.
Yes.
And then did you see the subsequent edit that somebody made of him flying off the screen
No.
for jumping so high? Because it was amazing.
I didn't see that.
It was so good.
Well, yeah. So like he's obviously the standout. He's one of the two big like pre the two like pre majors. I don't even know what to call them to like this to the major that is Genesis 6. So yeah, he's definitely the guy. And then yeah, Leffen being I think he's the top seeded melee guy right now. Leffen being a Pokemon trainer main apparently, and
I am so hyped to watch Leffen play. Like
I actually am too. I gotta say.
Like if you've paid attention to his YouTube or Twitch, like bro, I'm so hyped for this high level Pokemon trainer play. Pokemon trainer's lit as hell. Oh my god.
He's been putting in a lot of work too, and I know he's been a little hesitant because it seems like he thinks there might be like an impending patch. I forget what the whole thing he was saying, but I've seen him saying like, "Oh, like I don't know if I want to put more time in the Pokemon trainer or yada yada yada."
And they didn't get touched.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nothing. So I guess that that's
We
Keep
take
on
those.
up airing.
wipe the sweat off the brow. Live to fight another day. So that's good news for him. So what else we got going on in G6? Because there's a lot more than just that.
Obviously, like I touched on it earlier, but this is like the first big tournament that the Japanese players are arriving for. So it's going to be like the U.S.'s first taste of. I don't actually have a list of who's coming from Japan. Let me see if I can grab that really quick.
I mean Zachary.
I
There you
know
go.
Yeah,
Sutan will be there. Who else? Yeah, I'm gonna get the seating right now because there's definitely a few of those guys in the top. Let me find it.
I'm watching Void play with Plant in training mode. Oh wow. Plant's forward air sucks.
Yeah,
Can't
it's
hit
awful.
standing Crom. Oh, that was
Feel it.
up air. No, never mind. He just swings his head around. How are you supposed to?
Okay, so all right, I'm looking at the seating now. So what do you guys think about like a player like Yeti who's been getting a ton of results in the Midwest?
Oh, Yeti's my sleeper pick for somebody to do very very well at this
Have you
event.
seen Yeti's combo, Dr. Mario combo video?
Dude, he's insane.
It's so good.
He is insane.
Why is it? Why was Forward Air that strong? And is it still that strong? And does he still play Dr. Mario? Because it's very important information.
I'm pretty sure he probably still plays Dr. Mario.
But yeah,
hope so.
not trying to tangent too much. Yeah,
No,
I'm hyped
it's
for
okay.
Yeti to do really well. He's super fun to watch. And,
Yeah, and like
he's a total shitlord. So
he just won Retro Arena over the weekend, and that's a huge deal because the other big guns that were there were like obviously names you recognize like Fatality and 8-Bit Man, but also the big one for me was Meister was there, and I believe in the time that Meister was in the Midwest or like in that specific region of Chicago, he hadn't lost a set to anybody at the weeklies. And he met Yeti in winners and grands, and Yeti to this point had not lost a tournament yet to any of the events that he's gone to. Like he won an event in Nebraska over Larry the weekend before that. So I think he's in prime position. Like it's just kind of the perfect storm of stuff to go well for a guy like him because nobody has that character experience. Like very seldom people have Mega Man experience. And he's still performing well in a very remote region of the United States, and also like doing it against other top players like Larry and Meister and the such. So I expect big things for Yeti this weekend. I'm not gonna say top 8 big because I feel like Mega Man's still a character that's like inherently flawed, and he's gonna have a lot of problems.
yeah, no, Yeti's really good. I'm not gonna say he's gonna top 8 a major like Genesis just yet, but I definitely hope to see him make it far. What's his seed?
He's 20 seed. That's actually what I was going to ask you. Do you think that's too low?
No, top
Or do you
25.
think?
I
Do
can
you
see
think?
it.
Yeah.
Top 25 feels right.
Because he's someone who does have like a lot of results early on here. So like the proof of like, okay, this is the actual game we're playing, and I've already excelled at it a lot. So
Well,
like, and then
I mean, there's like the weight of the size of tournaments because, like you said, that like he's been tearing up the Midwest, which is fine. I I mean, like you talk about how the old Genesis seeders were using Inuit logic to be like, well, Meister did well against Chicago, and Chicago did well against Japan. So
see the classic confirmation bias with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the 20 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
Speaking of 20 degrees, poor Midwest. Shout outs to like the negative 50-degree weather they're seeing
Yeah,
now, by the
facts.
way.
Yeah, I'm pouring one out for Hazmat right now, friend of the
Oh
podcast.
my God.
Is he there?
He's currently in Minneapolis on business.
Oh,
Negative 20.
It's
I
like
keep meaning to ask
chill.
Has what the hell he does, but whatever.
it's like actually like a life-threatening concern. Like negative
Yeah,
50-degree
it's
weather.
cold.
That's like don't leave your house weather. Like literally don't leave your house because you'll freeze to death.
Yeah.
But right, so what other names we have here? Because I was looking, I see like Captain Zach is at a 32 seed, which I don't know. I guess I don't really want to debate seeding, but it is
Top
funny.
32. I mean, that like those things. Like, okay, see, here's the issue, right? And my point of view might be nice in the sense that this is coming from someone who hasn't like super paid attention. Like, if it wasn't out right in front of me, like at Let's Make Moves and shit, I'm not gonna super notice if it wasn't at like a big tournament. Like Captain Zach being like a top 32 seed, like I could see that. It's like, hey, he's still really good. I haven't heard of anything ridiculous he's done. So like carried a little bit by legacy, but like haven't heard him do like absolutely poor, which is cool. Then you have like Yeti, who's like doing has been making some noise. I don't think he did anything ridiculous, but like you just said, like Retro Arena, which like just passed, which like, okay, I didn't hear about that, but that's great. And so it's like, okay, top 25, top 32, like at least we're putting like the household names in those top areas because like when like you have a lot of freedom in the top 32 and the top 25. So it's just like, okay, like those, at least from my point of view, who's not paying like super close attention, am I like, okay, that at least sounds right. It feels
So
right,
what do
at
you?
least for early on.
You're actually the perfect person to have on for this question. What do you got on Sinji being 26th seed?
It's gonna be a long top 32.
Yeah, man, he's 26th seed.
I-
He's above Javi, SDX, Captain L, Meister, Matty G,
So,
Anti.
How did I forget how Sinji placed at like Let's Make Moves? Because that was the only like major he went to.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like he's done
Didn't he
some
get
other.
ninth?
Was it 9th?
I think so.
I'm just gonna.
You know what? I'm just gonna. Yeah, I'll look it up as well, because like he's one of those guys. Like it's like I don't even say he had his own unique legacy in Smash 4 and just Smash in general, like very
Yeah.
very unique. But like as far as like your traditional legacies go, like you don't really think of like Sinji in that, which I don't know.
Don't.
Yeah,
but-
like you just don't like, especially.
And I'm from New York, and I def don't. Like,
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. It's like.
but like anytime like he does well versus certain players, I'm definitely not surprised at the same time. He got 13th at Let's Make Moves. He lost to Captain Zach and Samsora.
Gotcha.
So wait, that's interesting. You said what's his seed?
He's 26 seed. Captain Zach, I think, is 32.
Oh, so so they have the same seed. They're both top 32 seeds.
Aha, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So he lost to Captain Zach, but has the same seed as him. But like, I'm sure like there's other things that like factor into that.
But then
But,
but I see Mr. E at 44, and that kind of has me scratching my head. Right? Like that
Okay.
seems a little off because like Mr. E he's been like I don't know, he's usually a top 5 placer almost anywhere he goes.
He hasn't or wasn't like, at least when it comes to like the local scene, I don't think he had won an Aeon or anything. Like, you know, his local, he wasn't like dominating. He wasn't doing like ridiculously well at Xeno. Like, okay, he was doing well. He's been getting like, at least this season, like 3rd and 4th. Like, he's not doing bad. I'm not saying that he's doing bad. But he is doing like just outside of what people talk about, especially like on the local level, right? Because you don't talk about top 8 on the local level. You talk about like who won the local, right? So
Right.
we have Shinji, who has won 2 Xenos, and our monthly, one of our monthly Xeno Saga, and it's like, if you're gonna be taking results to see how he's doing, you're like, he got 13th at Let's Make Moves. He's doing really well at Xeno, and not trying to toot my own horn, but I feel like Xeno has somewhat become
Dude,
a bit of a household
Xeno
name.
has 140 plus entrants like on the regular. Like I'm pretty sure it's there, and that's
like,
the interesting part about it, though, right? So now, like, because debatably, you could say Shinji kind of got his place like through Xenos, like where did,
right? But like that's the thing. It's like, how much weight like have these locals been playing into how that is? Because like he did end up on PGR 100. He did end up on the last PGR top 50 in 40 something, right? So it's like he definitely like proved his salt in Smash 4. So
it seems a little low. I gotta be honest with you for him, but like, you know,
Well, like
higher.
I feel like in regards to weeklies, just because of the sheer amount of them that have like over 100 entrants, and you look at the level of competition, it might have to play a factor. But I feel like it's fair, just considering, because I think Shinji went to Glitch. Did he go to Glitch? I'm almost positive he went.
I'm pretty sure you're right, because I'm trying to remember what the other tournament he was. I feel like I watched him do well at a tournament, and I can't remember what, and maybe it was that.
Well, Smash EG, like I clicked on his name, it has like recent tournaments, and Glitch was what day?
That was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. So
Xenosaga was before then. No, it just says his last 3 tournaments were Xeno Weekly, Xenosaga, Xeno Weekly. So I don't think so.
Dude, that's so interesting to me. Like that in particular, because guys from the same place. And then hold on, I just clicked away. Then I think Anti was 30 something seed. Where'd it go?
Really? So he's not a top 32 seed?
Yeah, and I know Anti's been he's been amongst the most vocal about the whole seeding from what I've seen. Hold on,
really? Because I think anyone
he's 36,
drowned out by Leffen.
Well, yeah, Leffen's the big one, and then Anti a little bit, but like, yeah, so Anti's
Penguin
at 36, which probably seems fair. I don't think what's Anti really gone to so far? Because I know he's gone to a few things.
He got 5th at Aeon's Orion.
Okay,
I think it was 5th. So again, that's kind of like a local, like it's supposed to be a regional.
That's a pretty decent sized tournament.
It was a decent sized tournament. It's just I feel like in like the way it transferred from word of mouth, it didn't like really hit like that type of tournament. So I feel like even though getting 5th at the tournament was not bad, it might not have been taken into account with as much salt as it may have deserved.
Right.
I know what you're describing.
Because because it's like when the tournament was coming up, I definitely was just like, oh right, yeah, Orion's coming up.
It's weird because like, at what point do you think seeding just like stops mattering? Like, in your opinion?
Like,
I mean, I'm looking at
just how much talent is there. Because like, I think top 32 to top 64 is like the gray area. Past top 64, like we can say like, yeah, obviously we have like PGR that has like a ranking of like top 50 players, so you can fit them all in the in top 64. But like once you're past top 32, like, yeah, it's like it's more of an acknowledgement of like, hey, that person's good. They're not gonna win, but they're good.
Yeah, I actually kind of agree with you, because very objectively looking at the list of players here, I would say like the names get a little bit less recognizable once you start hitting the 50s, where you see like Dyer, you see Rags, Lima, Best Nest, Pandarian, and then like when you get a little bit past that, aside from like the melee gods that you're seeing on the list, like it gets you're just not as familiar. Like you'll catch an occasional name like Xaz, K9S Bruce. J-Tails. Actually, I don't know, man.
Actually, I believe isn't even going anymore.
Oh,
So
well then.
What seed is J-Tails?
J-Tails is. Hold on, I just scrolled past him. I think he was. Jeez, can't find him now.
you
J-Tails.
just passed him, I
80.
think.
He's 80.
Really?
Yep,
That's
he's
interesting.
he's in
Hmm.
between Shaky and Hungry Box.
Because
See,
he's been doing very well, to my
I would
knowledge.
give him a top 64 seed. Like, I feel like, so in my mind, and I'm not looking at the Genesis seeding right now, but like, in my mind, like I said, top 32 are like the people who are, so, okay, top 16 is the hyper prevalent. Like, they've done super well. Their names are right now household, right? Like, I would say, like, ZD, like, right now, like, people know his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have 16 to top 32. It's like these people are prevalent. They all have pretty damn good chances of maybe not winning, but like top 8ing. And then you have top 32 to top 64, which is like this guy did well, might not have gotten as much exposure as they could due to whatever like limited opportunities or whatever, but like are still hyper solid, right? And that's kind of like what coincides with when you look at like the higher side of like PGR ranking and stuff. It's like, yeah, they're good. Like I love Jules. I don't think Jules is going to win Genesis, but if he were, I think he could get what would be viewed by some as upsets, and he could get top 32, maybe even top 16. I'm rooting for my boy, right? But like,
I'm saying though,
yeah, so past top 64. Like if you were to ask me to list 64 players that I would put before Jules, I don't know if that would work. Especially with his performance at Dope Park in the Grass.
What do you place at there?
5th, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
he was parked well on the grass at that time.
Yeah.
Like completely on.
Flipping off the sign and everything.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, this is easily the biggest bracket we've seen, like as far as like talent goes. There are a lot of players here as I look at this list. What's I'm gonna look right now. The total number of entrants. Jeez, man.
Isn't it like
It's well-
2,500
yeah,
or something?
It's well over 2,000.
Yeah.
For ultimate singles, it looks like it is 2,088. That's a lot of players. So, jeez, yeah, that's massive.
Yeah, man, this event's gonna be so much fun, and
They need to DQ 4 of those players so we have 2048. Just have a perfect bracket.
DQ
Yeah.
me. I'm gonna go 0-2, so I might as well just drown anyway.
for the
Bet.
Actually,
for the cause.
see, I never realized like the scope of how big a tournament is because at least half of these people are gonna go 0-2.
Oh
like-
yeah.
A quarter goes half and 2. The other quarter goes 1 and 2.
That's so like
Yeah.
That's
those poor
like
people.
that's the crazy part about like and this is a nice little loop around as we are getting to the end, but like the whole concept of seeding, right? So when you have that many people and like you said, half of those people are gonna go 0-2, like 1-2, it's like the seeding does become kind of important because like if you're a top name player and you end up playing against someone really early on, like it is kind of a drag, and it does actually change up the results for what they probably should be. The mentality of like, oh well, if you're really good, then you'll just win anyways. Like, I understand that, but like it definitely is not how actual sports work. Even I've heard people who are actual sports fans say it's that seeding isn't how it works, but it
it's
actually
like,
is.
In theory, first is going to get first, right? Like the best player is going to get the best player.
I hope so.
But like that doesn't really like when you put that in practice, you have like you do have a somewhat rock paper scissors thing going on. Like you can say that Tweak is the best player, and I think he is right now our best player and well deserving of first, right? Is he guaranteed first? Well, no, that's why he's entering a tournament.
Totally. That's why they play the game.
And then like depending on the people who are on his side of the bracket, which remember, there are remember, 5th and 6th seed, right, are the same seed. Right? They both are you're both
Right.
seeded to place 5th place, right? So you have the same seed. So now, which person is on Tweak's side who has a greater chance of beating him, right? Like every single time you fight someone, you have that chance of beating that person, right? And it's just about how well are those odds in that person's favor, right? Player like Tweak, number one player, odds are going to be in his favor. By seeding should always be in his favor, right? But even though like a 60-40 matchup is still a 60-40 matchup, you know? When he starts fighting the other players, like he's not going to be invincible, and that's the whole point of a tournament. Like what?
Yeah, man, it's pretty important. It really is. And then I guess on like a smaller scale, seeding becomes a little bit less about like talent, and then becomes a little more about avoiding people in your carpools. So there's stuff like that as well.
Well, yeah,
that kind of gets into.
So tournaments aren't only to find the you know, their mission isn't only to find out who's the best, right?
Mhm.
From first place, second place, and third place, right? It's still an event that people are going to, and like you still need to like cater to them to give them a good experience, right? You're going to an event to play, to have fun, to get experience and get better in your own right.
You
know?
go to have fun. Speak for yourself.
Look here, you little shit. All right. But like there's also the fact that like when you have all these people coming from across the country and all that, right? You not only want to see as much overlap you not only want to see as much overlap for people to just not play their friends, you want to see as much overlap just to create as big a net as possible to see how the state versus state like works, you know? Remember in Smash 4 it was just like it's like, what if you got the top 10 in Texas versus a whole DeBuzz? No contest.
No, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
remember when
DeBuzz
DeBuzz
just mops them, right?
DeBuzz
But,
almost
like,
defeated an entire university by himself.
yeah.
He almost conquered the education system. like you can't do that.
That DeBuzz, man, I'll tell you.
He gave Texas to Mexico. But yeah, so it's like like you want to put as much overlap so then you see a net of like how everyone is interacting with each other, and like so like for example, like you have 5 states, right? You want one of the states being New York. You're gonna want New York to fight. You're gonna want all of your New Yorkers to fight at least one of those other states. So then you have as much crossover as possible. Like it's essentially like a round robin of crossing results, you know? And so like that way you have all the separation. And like the beauty of seeding, because a bracket is not a round robin, right? It's a binary tree. You have all these different levels that are all equivalencies, you know? Just like how 5th and 6th are equivalent. They are seeded to tie. 7th and 8th are seeded to tie, right? And those are just 2 of the same seed. But then you get into top 12, top 16, top 24, top 32, right? These umbrellas get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, which means when you're moving seeds around, you're not saying that this person is worse than the other just because their number is off by like a few. It's not a ranking. It's about separation and like putting all this overlap in like a proper spot. And you also and like on the local level, right, you try to take away repeat matches because hey, we saw that before, let's keep the data fresh, you know? And because seeds have equivalencies, you know, you're able to move them around without breaking the structure of the bracket, without breaking the infrastructure of these like clear ranked skills, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like you could also argue sometimes that even like 1st and 2nd seed are also the same because they're both the cut above the rest of their own bracket and they are set to fight each other in the end, right? Which then also pulls into how 1st and 4th seed are the same seed because they are both the cut above of their quadrants and will meet, and then one will lose, you know? Like you could give 1st seed, you could give Tweak 4th seed and give Zachary 1st seed, right? And if you're not looking at it as a ranking way, they're still going to meet after beating the same kinds of players in the same levels. And then the winner of that is still going to win. You know?
Yeah, it's funny how you bring that up because like obviously they're supposed to like, keep the data fresh, like you just mentioned. But I can't tell you the number of times I watched James versus the Buzz or James versus Salem at a national, and I was just like, "What the hell's going on here?"
Oh, so that's also a really interesting thing, and like a lot of this stems from Xeno, and I really wish like I kind of asked Dill to join us today, but
that would have been
he didn't
cool.
Want to? But like
Next time.
you'll see
Everybody go to Xeno.
You'll see like Dill will try his best to like avoid repeat matches as much as possible. And the thing about that is just like unless you're looking at every single matchup, right? It's interesting that you'll have these repeats show up because the way you drop them in those buckets, right? The household name, like the skill of that person in that person's head at time of seeding, right, is still very common, right? When you think of Light, like your impression of Light as a player is probably very similar to my impression of Light as a player, right?
Dude's good.
So if you and I are both set to seed the same tournament, right, we're gonna put him in that bucket over at point A, whatever, and then you're gonna put let's use like James and DeBuzz since that was the example you gave, right? I'm gonna put DeBuzz. You and I are gonna put DeBuzz in this same bucket because we kind of have that feel of how he is as a player. Because like seeding in general, like you can try and put it through as many formulas as possible, but like you have to understand that people still made those formulas. So the bias, like you can try and remove yourself as much as possible, but like everything here is man-made. So when we put people in these buckets of like where they're going to place, and you see like, oh, okay, DeBuzz did well here, and here. James did well here, and here, but obviously James didn't do as well as DeBuzz in like the grand scheme of things. So they're gonna fall into this bucket and that bucket, and like, okay, well, time to go see the other 450 people, and then they play each other. It's an oversight. But like, unless you're specifically looking out for it, it's like, how are you supposed to be prepared for that?
So, what you're telling me is, seeding's it's pretty important.
Yeah, it's hard. You need to like. There's so many things you need to pay attention to. It's like one thing that we do at Xeno, right? Is, and this might be a philosophy thing, but if we know that a big name is coming to Xeno, right? And they're traveling, right? So one, you get the travel bonus because you're not gonna be here forever. So the people that you're gonna play are probably gonna be the only time you're gonna play, right? So you get bumped up in seeding so that you get to see most of the talent, right? Mm-hmm. But then, right, because remember, seeding is not a ranking, right? You also want all of your top talent to play that person, right?
Right.
So, and sorry, I'm not trying to take over and turn this into my fucking seeding manifesto.
Run with it, man.
Please.
Yeah.
Continue. This is
but
great.
Like, so like when someone like Anti or DeBuzz show up, right? Let's keep it local, right? Anti and DeBuzz are not regulars to Xeno, right? There are times where they have been mostly DeBuzz, but like if you see this person who is good, and you want to give them a high seed, but you don't want to auto give them first because they miss out on playing third, right? Because if you have a pool of data, a pool of results where like you can derive the first best player, second best and third best, fourth and fifth, sixth, right? Then you want them to play their top talent. So what do? Or at least what we do? We give them third seed. Third seed means they play second and first. If they are the best player there, like they are quote unquote deserving of first seed, right? But they're not a regular, right? You still want all of your talent to play them. This is it's not a major. So you get to like you kind of play around with that stuff because you're also at the same time at the local level avoiding repeat matchups. You know.
Yeah.
But that's
Interesting.
yeah. God, the flack we got for giving Juice third seed, fucking shoot me, dude. But
Classic Philly, man. That's
It'd be
like,
that sometimes.
yeah, because like seeding isn't the local power ranking of the day. So like, sorry.
all I'm saying, man, is my boy is going to Xeno tomorrow, and he's like the best player. So if he's not first seed, you guys are rigged. Like,
Oh, shoot me. God.
No, like, so I think we've obviously this is a great PSA for why seeding is important on all levels because it's great for the viewers to see, things they never seen before, and it's obviously good for the competitors to feel like, I guess I feel like there's obviously a little bit of an ego thing behind it too, but like if you're genuinely if the seeding is genuinely like not good and it looks bad and you have like the people that you hired like lashing out at the people you're supposed to be like catering to the way that they did, like if it means like paying these people like a couple of dimes on a dollar just so like the job gets done properly.
Yeah, I
And,
mean
like,
that's
by all
the other thing. It's just like the whole I'm sorry, not to cut you off. It's just that the whole like impression of skill in the culture, like the culture matters, right? Where people put these people on these pedestals in that specific order, and just because like if someone's seeing it, it's one being dismissive of the entire scene, because it doesn't fit their dogma or whatever. Dogma's not the right word, but whatever.
That was a good
Their philosophy. It doesn't fit the way they see it. It's like, okay, yeah, you're entitled to your own opinion, but like seeding is a mixture of skill and opinion. And so if your opinion of their skill greatly is unbalanced versus what the whole community sees, then sorry, you're wrong. Just by consensus,
yeah,
It's just
objectively.
if you think you're king penguin of 500 penguins. But like, sorry.
that point.
It shows like people have a problem with it at a mass level, and like there is definitely going to be like people, just because it's on the internet, people will just like just jump on it just for the sake of jumping on it. But like more or less the direction is usually still right. More or less.
I also just think that like I just thought it was great how like far Leffen ran with it. Like I think he tweeted that night. He's just like 7th best penguin in Europe streaming Smash Ultimate, and I just
when he said, he was just
died.
like, "Do you know how hard it is to turn on a Switch in negative 135 degrees?"
Dude, his profile, his Twitter profile picture is that penguin with hair.
It's so cute. It's so cute.
Dude, he had emotes made.
Yeah.
Like
Good for
This
him,
is
man.
like before I hop on my icicle and paddle to Genesis.
I was just surprised at the amount of people that were able to find like penguin pictures without all using the same.
God.
Like Coney had a
People
Coney,
act fast.
yeah, Coney had a good one where it was Jim Carrey as Mr. Popper and Mr. Popper's penguins.
Oh man.
it was good, man. But yeah, Genesis is gonna be a lot of fun. Like I'm glad that like the crux of all this got sorted out because the event is obviously it has a lot of legacy, like I said, and it also sets the mood for like for the rest of the year for the most part. Like there's always at least one player the last like 3 or 4 genocide or however you say the plural. Like there's been at least like 1 or 2 players that have had like breakouts and they've like carried that momentum for like a large part of the year. Like obviously Renai was a big one. Captain Zach was a big one. Mistake was a big one last year, even though he was kind of had like a good start to a season to begin with. Oh my god,
It's a good one, right?
These
are all just Lethin's tweets. I'm just looking
dude.
through.
Anime has infiltrated the the podcast. It's done for. Yeah, but I'm excited. It's gonna be a good time, and everybody should watch because I'm gonna be there. Maybe you'll see me bust her out on stream.
Yeah, man. You could tell us all about it next week too.
Do you have a commentary block?
Nope.
Kill one of them.
I mean, redacted.
Redacted.
But I guess that's gonna wrap it up, man. I'm actually super glad we had you on, Deven, because that's actually pretty good insight on seeding.
Yeah, I mean, if like if you think that if you enjoyed my rants on seeding, because like that type of conversation could go on for hours, I highly recommend just hitting up Dill, literally just hitting him up and just like asking him like about how some decisions are made or like how some things are broken down. Dill is like ridiculous at it, and everything I know is from what he's taught me.
I thought Xeno was rigged though.
Rigged in the best possible way for your experience.
Rigged for your enjoyment.
Yeah.
So here's a fun idea. So usually we do the players of the week segment, but I think we should. How about we all give our sleeper pick for Genesis, since I already technically gave mine. And I'll pick somebody different than Yeti because I think Gluttony's going to do really well over the weekend.
Oh, you mean Gluttony might do better than his seed? Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Gluttony, dude, he's 11 seed. It's not like he's like.
Yeah, no, he has a top 12.
Yeah,
seed.
he's up there, dude.
I think he's going to do really well. In regards to people that are like, you probably aren't going to know about. I'm trying to think. How about?
Dude, I'd actually love to see like Fatality make some waves. You just never know with Falcon.
I'm gonna go with Elegant, just because
Elegant's a good pick. Honestly,
yeah, just because.
Oh man,
I still think Luigi's still big dumb. So
and they buffed him.
Yeah, he's got the young buff, but but they aren't going to use the patch. So
if I were to pick people who I think are really good but aren't from my region for like region bias, being like, oh, I think E will do better than top 64 or top 48. Oh, Matty G will probably.
Dude, you damn it!
Yeah,
you pulled that one right from my head.
Matty
I actually
G,
think dude, Matty G is a savage, and he's really the only person we're seeing in like the top 35 who's using Crom.
I swear, I'm pretty sure he's never came to a Xeno because he's from New England. But then I swear, all the overclocks that I've streamed, he hasn't been there. So like he's still like only a legend to me. He's a myth.
He was
at Let's Make Moves though.
He was mostly a Wi-Fi player at the beginning and the end of Smash 4, but he's out here.
Fun fact: he's the only seeded Crom outside of Blank.
Is James not going?
James is not going.
Okay, I was about to say, holy crap.
So
fuck James.
Well, that's actually a different conversation. Like I don't know, that is debatable because Matty G did actually beat James in the Ditto, but that was also several weeks back.
Okay, but are we really going to try and say that the Ditto is the definitive way of telling which player is better? Can we
yes. Not? Totally definitive way. There's no other way.
James sucks.
No, but in either case, they actually play a little bit differently. Crom's a crazy character. So, yeah, I think Matty G's a good pick. And then I'm trying to look at who else is on here. You know, that's an interesting one because Foe actually has a decent seed considering.
Yeah. I mean, I think J-Tails will do good. J-Tails may not be, like, in the grand scheme, like, one of the greatest players, but he's definitely one of the goodest players. Like,
that's a really good way to put it. Honestly.
Yeah, like, Street Fighter or Streetest Fighter. Like, the fact that he's outside of top 64, I honestly think that he's underseeded. And also, Jules has, like, he picks up on things fast. It's just like how he was like kind of dominant in early Smash 4. So I think he'll do well.
Yeah, he won a tournament over Mewtwo King. Like that was a big deal.
Yeah. When no one believed that Diddy up throw up air or down throw up air was like godlike, and he's like, "No, guys, this is broken." It's like, "Hey, you won Katar again
at 2 a.m."
Yeah, shout out to an untouched Diddy in the patch.
Oh, did he deserve any patches?
No, that character's just dead now. That's it.
Oh yeah. So
dead
really,
character.
I'll leave you guys with two things, obviously, before you leave. Number one, I think Zachary is gonna live up to his seed. I think he might do better than his seed. I want to see how good he is because he's like still like the one unknown commodity that I'm still not sure about, and I think he's obviously the one that a lot of people are going to be watching. And 2, they buffed Incineroar, and this character's fucking scary now.
Yeah, Incineroar got some throw buffs, I saw. And
no, up B goes higher
Up
now.
D, it goes higher and more horizontal. I did see that as well.
Him.
Yeah, good for the boys. Yeah.
Big stupid cat.
Up smash,
Gonna
extended launch
scratch his
distance.
scruff.
Dude, he's Chester Cheetah in his one ult.
So okay,
Oh my
actually, reverse question. So you said like people you think are like the sleepers who will do like better than their seed and like make a good upset. What about
Yes.
the reverse?
Oh,
Who's an
like,
upset?
like people who are seated
Who's
really
gonna
high.
get blown up?
Ooh, that's a good question because top 10
That's a
looks
loaded
pretty.
question.
Top 10 looks pretty solid.
I mean, you don't have to pick from the top 10.
No, you're
I'm just
right.
saying,
You're
I'm
right.
trying to throw shade here. That's all.
That's a good question. I don't know. I'll say I'll lean. I don't want to lean on a Bayo main because I feel like that's kind of like an easy question because both Lima and Zach didn't have good performances
Yeah,
at Glitch.
thinking the exact
So
same
like
thing.
it's easy to pick them. I'm gonna go with Cosmos. I don't know
Ooh,
Actually, that's a
Interesting.
reasonable pick.
that's an
Because-
interesting pick. Yeah.
because Cosmos has made like I mean obviously like 9th and 17th is nothing to scoff at, but like I feel
Right.
like Inklings have kind of lost a little bit of steam. But I'd love to be proven wrong, obviously.
So I would like to be proven wrong because I think it'll be hilarious. And don't let Twitter find out about this. But Dark Wizzy,
That's also not a surprising pick.
like he has a top 48 seed. I could see him placing in the top 64, but I don't know. I kind of don't think he'll place his seed. Dark Wizzy is good, but like
Mario
know.
isn't.
Yeah, that's also true.
yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that's why.
Is Komo Rikiri going because he's been playing Richter? And
I
need a new god to pray to.
I don't
Victor?
see him on the list here, but I could be looking past him. I'm gonna say, I was almost gonna say Wadi, but I don't think so. But I'll stay at MDVA, and I think I'm gonna say Rags. Actually,
Oh man, you're supposed to say ZD. Laugh my fucking ass off.
yeah, right. I'm not falling for that one.
Yeah, no, I see where you're coming with that.
But I mean, he's also 58 seed, so it's he's in that range of questionable anyways. And I also see False at 63. I love False.
Oh.
I think False is a great player and amazing. But like I don't remember the last time False has ever been in a bracket.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I think False in general is a sleeper. He has a top 64 seed. I think he'll break into top 48 or top 32.
Yeah, he could go
Like,
either way.
If he's on his shit, which like he totally can be, then he'll do well.
If he wants to give a shit, he'll do well. That's
Yeah.
the big thing. It's all about self motivation with him.
Well, I guess we'll see. I'm just noticing he's sporting that nice new EMG sponsor. Is that new? Because I don't.
No, he's been
No,
EMG for a while.
it's been a
now.
while.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, no one did.
Well then.
On that note,
Yeah. On that note,
Is this the part
it's been a good show.
Wait. so here's I guess this is the part where you plug the social medias by voice because we're on SoundCloud. Nahar har.
Yeah, har har.
So you go first, Deven. You're the guest.
Oh, jeez. I mean, don't follow me at Deven2000. Just follow us at House of 3000. I'm the
Nice.
Zeno. Got a lot of events coming up. We got like I won't list them
Clock.
out because there's so many of them. But yeah, like just follow our Twitter. There's so many events coming up. Oh my god.
And that's at House of 3000
Yeah.
for those
all one
interested.
word.
And then you could follow me at CSantoZX. Yeah. Although I'm gonna take Devin's line just there and say like I'd rather you just follow at Master Hand Games, but you could definitely follow both. Because we're kind of just getting started with this podcast. This is still pretty early on in the life of it, all things considered. Despite the fact that
We've been
Cooper,
doing
you
it
and I have been
fucking-
doing it for like 4 months, 5 months.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man, we have a baby. We're like almost in the third trimester at this point.
yeah, dude, it's something.
So I'd say you don't follow me at Koopa NJ, but please do. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Koopa NJ. Like I said, I'm gonna be at Genesis over the weekend. I won't be commentating, but I am playing. But if you want to keep updated on various things around the event, look at the various delicious food I'm going to be eating around the Bay Area. I heard there's a really good fried chicken spot, so my diet is going straight to shit this weekend.
Well, if it's in the Bay Area, you have a shot at like pseudo healthy fried chicken.
That's fine.
Yes.
How many weeks old did you say that the podcast was?
So we've been doing it since June, since the Richter and
Dude, we
the
did
Belmont
it-
trailer.
Yeah, actually, yep.
Since June. So so you got like
It's been a while.
30 weeks or something.
Wait, hold on. No.
Yeah,
I think
well, we
I
did
think
it-
it's in the 20s.
Well,
All
we
right,
did-
fine, whatever. I'm just letting you know that I'm like 1,055 weeks. So
Got him.
Touche. Shit. But yeah, so we've been at it. I'm trying to remember. So we had 18 actual gloves off, like before we started the season thing, and then we have 5 of these, so that puts us at 23. And then there was 2 PR ones. That's 25. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's been 25 episodes. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because we've been doing it weekly since the Belmont debut direct.
Yeah, I remember.
So,
I remember playing that trailer. So and Nintendo flagging my video for it. So I remember it all very clearly.
ladies and gentlemen, we got them.
Yeah,
But
they
we've
really,
been
they really
bantering
did.
enough. So
Yeah, we have been bantering, but again, thank you so much for anyone who has been keeping up and watching. And if you are digging this kind of thing, be sure to tell your friends and give us all those thumbs up and stuff, because it does make a difference. It's in terms of like search and people just decide to click on the video or not. So with all of that, I'm your host, Chris ZX.
and I'm Koopa.
And I'm Mr. 3000.
Yes, sir. And we're going to see you guys next week. Bye.
Later.
Bye.